This is Suvarchala working as an associate professor, the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. As a part of database management system lecture series, I've been discussing a few lectures related to transaction processing and serializable schedules. The last session I explained to you what is serializability and what is conflict serializable schedules actually, and how to ensure that a schedule is serializable or not by using conflict serializable concept. So serializability means a schedule means a sequence of instructions that specify chronological order in which instructions of concurrent transactions are executed. The main purpose of the database management system is concurrent transaction execution, because the data is going to be shared by multiple users at a same time actually. So a schedule for a set of transactions must consist of all instructions of these transactions. But these transactions, even though they are executing, seems to be parallel or concurrent execution is there, they must preserve the consistency of the database. That is, they should produce the result as if they are executing individually. So, different types of the schedules can be generated in a chronological order. Each transaction preserves consistency. This is the basic assumption. And all transactions together concurrently executed also, they must preserve consistency. So a possible concurrent schedule is serializable if it is equivalent to any one of the serial schedules actually. Different forms of the schedule equivalence techniques are conflict serializability, view serializability. I explained to you about the conflict serializability in the last class. In this example, just I'll revise these things. The instructions which are non-conflict instructions, those can be swapped. That is, chronological order can be swapped actually. Consecutive, that too consecutive instructions. In this example schedule, read A and read B, these two are non-conflict since those two instructions are on different items. Two instructions are going to be conflict if they are on same data item doing and one of them is right, then those instructions are conflict instructions. Conflict instructions cannot be interchanged, but non-conflict instructions can be interchanged. Chronological order can be interchanged. So as a part of that, in this example, read A, read B can be interchanged because both of them are on A, B, different items. After interchanging the first one, 1A and 1B is there. So read B, write A can be interchanged first. Then what is the chronological order? Read A, then we will get read B, then we'll get write A. Then 1B transaction, that is read B, read A can be interchanged. After that we will get read B will be moved upwards and read A, write A will come downwards. So as has been shown to you in this red color schedule actually. After 1A, 1B, this is the schedule. Now in this example, you observe, then read A, write A, write B. Read A is completed. So though that was moved down, no? So with this write A, write B also, we can interchange these instructions. So this write A, write B, when we are interchanging these two instructions also with the read A, then this write A will become upwards, it will move to the upwards and write B becomes in the downwards actually. So as a part of that, we will get the instructions are going to be scheduled read A, write A and read B, write B. Again read A, write A, read B, write B. Serial order of T1, T2 is possible. So what we are doing? First we are doing with read B and these two instructions are moved downwards and this is moved upward. Similarly then we are doing this write B with these two. These are still moving downwards. This is moving a little bit upward. So that these are going to be considered. While interchanging these schedules, please observe that these kind of non-conflict instructions have been interchanged. Now, because this conflict serializability can be tested by using precedence graph, which was discussed in the last class. Other than this, some more techniques are there. One of them is view serializability is there. So, serializable schedule is different from being a serial schedule, gives benefit of the concurrent execution. Without giving any correctness, it is difficult to test the serializability. And even we are using conflict serializability, it will take a cyclic characteristic of graph actually. So database management system enforce protocol a set of rules to ensure that serializability. Another technique for testing this serializability is view serializability. What is view serializability? If you are having two schedules, S and S dash, if those two schedules are view equivalent, then we will call that the respective schedule is view serializable actually. If S and S dash are two schedules with the same set of transactions and S and S dash are view equivalent, the following, then we can say that that S dash is a serializable schedule. So how can you check whether those two are view equivalent or not? If the following three conditions are satisfied in any schedule, then we can say that it is a view equivalent to the serial schedule. These three conditions are based upon the read-write operations only, because inconsistency arises because of this sequence of read-write operations are going to be changed. So what are the conditions we have to consider? In the schedule S, if the transaction Ti reads the initial value of any data item Q, let us assume that. So if the Q data item was read by Ti initially, then in S dash also Q must be read by Ti only initially. That is, initial value of Q must be read by the same transaction in both schedules. Okay, the starting value of any data item must be read by the same transaction in the both schedules. Second, if in a schedule S the transaction Ti executes a read queue and that value was produced by another transaction Tj, produced by Tj means Tj was updated it. That is, write queue was written. Then in schedule S dash also, Ti must read the value of Q which is produced by Tj only. That is, after write Q operation of Tj must be read by Ti, the respective data item. And the third one, that means the first one is initial value reading. Second one is any transaction reads a data item which is produced by other transaction must be satisfied in both schedules actually. The third one is the transaction that performs the final write queue operation, then in a schedule S, then the TJ also should perform the final write queue operation in the schedule S dash also. That means whichever the transaction is writing the final value of Q in a schedule, the same transaction should write the final value of any data item in the other schedule also. That means view equivalency is based upon purely read and write operations only, which are providing us the consistency of the or ensuring the consistency of the database actually. You observe this example, schedule S is view serializable if it is view equivalent to any serial schedule as specified. So first we have to check whether it is view equivalent or not actually. Now if you observe this here, in this schedule, read queue we are reading and write queue after reading and after writing T28, then T27 is writing and after that T29 is writing. So this may be equivalent. You can consider this is an equivalent to the serial schedule T28, T27, T29. Because this satisfies view equivalency. You observe the initial value was read by T27. In this example also, T27 only reading because other transactions are not reading. And the write operation produced by 28 was used by 27. Yes, we are doing 28 initial notes. Write operation performed by 28 is used by 27. and write operation of 29 is used by written by the 27. So you observe here we are first doing 27, 20, 29 means the right of 29 is used by 27. So this schedule, which is concurrent schedule, is equivalent to a serial schedule of order T28, T27, T29. That is equivalent, view equivalent schedule. So that's why the given schedule A is a view serializable. It is a view serializable. So this is a view serializable schedule to the serial schedule T28, T27 and T29. It is satisfying these three conditions. But you observe, it is not a conflict serializable. Conflict means, can I make it as a any serial schedule? Now you observe all these write and read statements are on the same data item. I cannot interchange because read and write, these I cannot interchange. Write I cannot interchange because these are the conflict instructions. These two cannot be interchanged. Both are right. So the set of instructions are consecutive set of instructions are conflict instructions, though that's why I cannot interchange. So equivalent serial schedule cannot be produced for the schedule A. So that's why these are not conflict equivalent. So now you observe this schedule A is not conflict equivalent because here we are not able to interchange any pair of these instructions. These are the possible pair of instructions to be interchanged. But all these pair of instructions are conflict instructions which cannot be interchanged. So equivalent conflict serializable serial schedule cannot be produced. So that's why it is not equivalent conflict serializable schedule. So what is the conclusion now? So a schedule is a view equivalent, then that is need not be conflict equivalent. But a schedule is conflict equivalent, then it is a view equivalent. So every view serializable schedule is not conflict serializable, but the conflict serializable schedule may be equivalent to view serializable. Why? Because this is not happening. Every view serializable schedule is not conflict serializable schedule. Why? Why? Because in case of these such schedules, blind writes will be there. What is a blind write? Blind write means without reading, just we are writing information, then we will call it as a blind write. So just we are writing information using write queue, write queue, write queue. Observe in T28 to T29 writes are there without having any read, then we can say it's a blind write actually. We are not taking the data from database, but we are trying to update it actually. Such writes are there. In such cases, that schedule may be view equivalent, but that schedule is not conflict serializable. View serializable, but not conflict serializable. So, what is the conclusion? A view serializable schedule may be conflict serializable or may not be conflict. But a conflict serializable schedule is a view equivalent schedule or view serializable schedule. So, testing for view serializable is because it is a view serializable means sometimes it is conflict serializable. So, precedence graph cannot be used. Sometimes it is not view equivalent. No. So, that's why testing view serializability has a cost of exponential in size of the precedence graph actually. And the problem of checking if a schedule is view serializable or not, it may fall on NP complete problems also. That is polynomial time complexity related algorithm exists. The existence of an efficient algorithm is here in checking view serializability is not possible. So that's why algorithm exists, but it takes more time actually. So that's why in practical algorithms, checking the sufficient condition for the view serializability is used in real-time database management system software actually. And various kinds of schedules we'll discuss now. That is recoverable, cascading schedules, cascadeless schedules, which we will use in the next session of the recoverability of the transactions actually. Recoverable. Recoverable means We discussed already states of the various transition states of the transaction. So if the transaction completes and commit statements also executes, then only we will say that the transaction is completed. In between at any time, there may be a failure in transaction because of so many reasons. For example, it may be a software reason, or it may be a hardware reason, or a system reason, or power failure, etc. In all these cases, if the concurrent transactions are executing and which of the transactions are recoverable, which of the transactions are non-recoverable, and what is the recovery series of recovery of the transactions required must be properly indicated in our recoverability. So, what is a recoverable schedule? If a transaction Tj reads a data item previously written by another transaction Ti in a schedule, then because Ti already written, that data was read by the Tj, right? So that's why in such cases, the commit statement of Ti must be earlier than the commit statement of the Tj. That is, Ti was written, that was used by Tj, no? So that's why the Ti must be completed, comparing with the Tj. So you observe in the schedule B. In the schedule B, read A, write A is there, and read A because T9 is reading the data item which was written by write A. But T9 committed earlier because still T8 is going on. Read B and some other may be there. That means if any problem occurs in this TI, what happens if a failure occurs in this TI? Failure occurs means it will be recovered back now, aborted. Aborted means it will be again whatever the instructions are done, those are undone and it will come to the initial state. Because this is aborted means because the data which has been written by this transaction was used by some other transaction, this also must be recovered. Otherwise, what happens? Inconsistency. T9 is not properly taking the data because which was not permanently written in your database was used. So such kind of schedules are known as non-recoverable schedules. Now the schedule B is not recoverable schedule because it is committed earlier than the transaction from which the data was written by the data was used by the T9. So T8 data written, A was written by T8 that was used by T9 and was committed earlier than T8. So this is not considered as a recoverable schedule. For example, this commit statement is after commit of T8, then it is a recoverable schedule. Because T8 is earlier completed than T9, then it is considered as a recoverable schedule. So if it is not recoverable schedules, whenever the rollbacks are going to be happened, rollback means undone happened in any transaction because of the failure of the any failure occurs in our systems because of the failure reason, then the rollback will be done. That is, undone will be done by us, by the system, database management system. So this undone means here some instructions which are partially executed. No, so that's why whatever the instructions are, whichever the instructions are executed, those are going to be undone, and the transactions are going to be undone. Means the database will be the initial state before the transaction. Whatever the state is there, that is the state. While doing this type of rollback, cascading rollback. Cascading rollback means if any schedule is not recoverable, possibility of the cascading rollback occurs. That is, any single transaction failure leads to a series of transaction rollbacks, then we will call cascading rollback. Any single transaction failure, for example, in this example, T10 was failed, aborted because of some software error or whatever. Because when the T10 aborted means what happens? This is rolled back. Rollback means whatever the write statements are there, those are all undone. Because this A, write A, already updated, then it was used by T11 it was written and that was used by T12. So when it is undone means the database became as initial status before T10. What happened? Whatever the state of database is there, that will be there. So in this undone, because of this undone, this also must be undone because this is using which was written by T10. No, that's why this is also must be undone. And whatever written by T11 was used by T12, so that's why T12 also must be undone. That means a series of undones have to be done. A series of rollbacks have to be done. Such type of series of rollbacks, because of a single transaction failure, a series of transactions need to be rolled back to maintain our database consistency. Such type of rollbacks are known as cascading rollbacks actually. Right? So these undoing leads to a significant amount of time and work by the database management system. As far as possible, such type of rollbacks must be avoided. So must be avoided means cause cascading rollbacks must be avoided means the schedule must be cascadeless. The schedule must be cascadeless. In such cases, cascading rollbacks can be rolled back. What is cascadeless schedules? For each pair of transactions TI-TJ such that TJ reads a data item previously written by TI. TJ reads a data item previously written by TI. That means T11 is reading data item which is written by T10 and T12 is reading data item which is written by T11. The commit operation of TI appears before the read operation of TJ. That means any case if write operation performed by one transaction, the same data item is read by the other transaction means before reading, the previous transaction must be committed. Then it will be read by any other transaction. Then there may not be a problem to us. That schedules are known as cascade schedules. For example, if it is reading means before itself it is committed, then what happens? No failure occurs once committed means. Then even it is reading, then no problem. If any failure occurs here, then that means here also it must be committed before reading the action. So the commit operation appears before the read operation of the other transaction which was written by the first transaction. Then the schedule is known as cascade-led schedule. So what happens? Every cascade-led schedule is also recoverable. It is also recoverable, you observe, because whichever is reading the data written by some other transaction, the commit statement should appear earlier. That is the recoverable schedule which we defined earlier. So that's why T10 is writing and that is used by T11. So T10 commit is earlier than T11 commit means it is a recoverable schedule. So every cascade-led schedule is a recoverable schedule actually. So it is desirable to restrict the schedules to those that are cascadeless. Then the cascading recoverability or cascading rollbacks can be avoidable. So the time taken to the concurrent transaction processing can be reduced actually. So this is example was not a cascadeless schedule here because no commit was used actually. Because of this concurrency control mechanism, all transactions are executing parallelly. So that's why a database management system should provide a mechanism and it should ensure that all possible schedules are both conflict serializable as well as recoverable, preferably cascadeless also. So a policy in which only one transaction gets executed at a time generates serial schedules, but which will provide a poor degree of concurrency, which doesn't give the essence of the database management system or a utilization of database by multiple user environment. Instead of that, we may go for file system in such cases actually. So concurrency control scheme must be trade-off. What is trade-off? How many number of transactions will be there in a schedule? That is the amount of concurrency that they allow. Actually, there is no limit, but any commercial database management system software should take care of that. A transaction schedule should not contain a 20, 25 or 100 schedules, etc. And it should not wait till that particular number of schedule transactions are submitted also. That means the concurrency control schemes trade off between the amount of concurrency they allow and the amount of overhead that they incur. More number of transactions are there in schedule, then automatically checking of the serializability, everything will take more time also. So that means the concurrency must be provided at the same time. The size of the concurrency and the overhead of the maintenance of that concurrency must be considerable factors so that our database management system is more effective. So testing a schedule for serializability after it has executed is a considered as a little too late actually, because once executed, scheduling testing is not that much required. Tests for serializability help us understand why a concurrency control protocol is correct. So what is the goal of database management system developers? Their goal is to develop a concurrency control protocol that will assure serializability. And also it will give a fixed number of transactions in a schedule also. Sometimes some applications are going to be allowing weak level of consistency also. That is, the schedules which are not serializable also they allow actually. For example, the schedules which are consists of only reads transactions need not be serializable because only read are there, no, so no conflict will occur. So approximate total balance of, for example, what is the total balance of the accounts, what is the total assets of a banking branch wise total assets. These are all some statistics. They are not going to use or update your database, but they are using the data and they are generating some statistical analysis, optimization, query optimization, database statistics to compute query optimization, approximately. Such transactions need not be serializable with respect to other transactions because they are accessing but they are not updating our data. So the trade-off accuracy for performance must be addressed by the database management system, concurrency control protocols actually. So with this, we will discuss more about how the recoverability can be assured properly. So just we introduced what is recoverable schedule actually, but when recovering the transactions, what are the things we need to consider and what are the concurrency control execution can be assured properly by using various techniques. That we will discuss in the next session. Thanks for watching this video.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.